Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I am so delighted to have you with us today. Oh, my dear friends, we understand by now that the energy that we experience as consciousness really is all that exists. Consciousness is the sculptor, and it is also the clay. And some people are learning now to use that energy in ever more powerful ways. One of them, of course, is Master Jesus, and his teachings, as we have them in the biblical Gospels, are a wonderful course in the mastery of consciousness. And another of them, too, is our guest today. He now calls himself Master Nick Eagle, and he has approached his study of the use of consciousness in a different way. Nick Eagle meditates now daily for hours. He tells us that he lives in high states of consciousness. He can at will achieve a state of oneness or nirvana with the universe, and he sees himself as a warrior against the self-delusional darkness, he says, that prevents people from living up to their highest potential and experiencing the divinity within themselves. Wow. Nick's fierceness in his mission has led him to stand away from the traditional image of teacher and master with his long beard. And doesn't he look fun? My goodness. With his long beard, he may look the part, but his approach to bringing people to enlightenment is a rigorous adherence to the principles he espouses in his book, which is called Golden Laws of Enlightenment. It's a demanding fealty to one's highest self, resisting the temptation to believe or indulge in anything that doesn't serve that highest good. Nick is educated. He has a PhD in philosophy. He's a certified yoga and meditation teacher, a Reiki and Kundalini master. He also is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt with world titles. He prepares people to work with enlightened plants. I love that part. We're going to talk about it. He facilitates ceremonies and teaches people how to be spiritual warriors at his Eagle Vortex Sanctuary in Sedona, Arizona. That's important. We'll talk about that too. Nick's attainment as an enlightened master is a result of a long journey that he himself has made. And wait till you hear where he started out. From someone who was filled with self-doubt, with low self-esteem, masking that with a life of bravado, before he came to know the truth behind the facade. And he reached that pinnacle by starring in Showtime's hit series, Gigolos, of all things, which was a reality show that followed the lives of 5 Las Vegas male escorts. From that, he built an international reputation as a sex and confidence guru. And then he had a sudden and unexpected Kundalini awakening. The life energy force surged up through him into the Nirvana state of oneness, fully cracking open that persona, and ultimately it led our Nick to a new way of living that is in service to humanity and divinity. Wow. My dear Nick, welcome. It's lovely to have you with us today.
Honored to be here.
Okay, now live up to what I just said. I just can't wait to hear all of this.
Yeah, there's a lot we could talk about, that's for sure. I know a lot of it sounds ridiculous, but
no, it doesn't sound ridiculous. I understand it.
I was a rapping gigolo, and
you were rapping.
I've come a long way, but when you understand the full story, it makes a lot more sense, though.
No, I mean, I get it. I want to hear about the plants, though, because I'm totally in the zone when you talk about the plants.
You want to talk about the plants as I prepare people to work with enlightening plants and tools?
Yes. Talk about the plants. You see, one of the things that's got me started doing all of this was I read a book 40 years ago called The Secret Life of Plants. Someone discovered that his plant was being read very much as if it were a human being. When he thought about harming his plant reacted negatively. Have you read this plant, The
Oh
Secret
yeah,
Life
we're all
of Plant?
connected. No, no, I haven't read that, but I I know that that is a thing for sure. Yeah, we're all connected, and we communicate in many ways with all living
We
beings.
communicate with plants.
Oh yeah, oh
All
yeah.
right.
I tell my plants I love them almost every day.
And that's why I have you can't really see it from here, but my office is full of plants.
Yeah, I'm
And
very
when I
thankful.
go away
They
for a
clean our
week,
air. Yeah,
yes,
they
when I
purify
go
the
away
air.
for a
I have
week,
them
my
in my
plants
bedroom too.
mourn. And that's what people don't get, just how connected we all are. And you get it. You went from being a gigolo to understanding all of this. So I feel like you and I are already spiritually connected now. It
Yeah,
is
I've
so
planted
phenomenal.
many fruit and nut trees across my property over the last couple of years. They started growing. I picked my first fruit a couple months ago. It was some pomegranate. I have an apple orchard in the back over here too, with about 8 trees and some peach trees and figs and all of the above.
But the thing is, after I read that book, I could no longer eat a salad because those leaves were the plant that produced the fruit. I couldn't, I can eat fruits, happy because they're meant to be eaten, but I can't eat a salad
But
anymore.
when they're harvested responsibly and as they should be, it's okay. They are here for us. That is,
Yes,
God wouldn't have given us these options. If so, even honey, you can look at that as, you're stealing the bee's hard work. But I feel like we have soul contracts. Soul contracts is one way to interpret it, with God. He
right.
wouldn't have made these nutritious, amazing things for us if, we weren't supposed to access them and consume them. I juice celery every morning and cucumber most late afternoons.
But it is so astonishing to discover how connected we all are through consciousness. And you came from what was really not a very consciously aware start, let's face it. And so how did you make this journey then?
Well, thing I want to say about the enlightening plants and psychedelics as well, I do contribute much of my growth to them. I've been experimenting with them for over 20 years. And they are teachers, and they have opened so many doors and shed light to so much. They've encouraged me and inspired me and told me to keep going forward, allowed me to connect. Now, you do need to have proper preparation, and I've offered that, and I pride myself as being one of the few people out there you should go to if you're interested with them. I have a blog that's a guide that I send to people, anybody who comes to me and asking them
Yeah.
about them, and I welcome all questions. I respond to all short and brief, respectful questions online, and I like to help people, especially with this, because they're very important, and few people out there are working with them properly. Most people are just trying to fill a ceremony and make money. And, the root and the depthness of the golden laws of enlightenment more than anything, now that I see and calculate and understand, now that all the fear is gone, is that we fail by comforting and feeding darkness. And this is where a lot of shaman will fail us as well. They'll just fill a ceremony circle, and they'll never teach you your power and teach you to take responsibility for your creation. So a lot
Right.
of people they're welcoming darkness. And then the quote on the back of my book and on the top of my website is, I do not welcome darkness, but I
No.
welcome you with open arms if you want me to help you leave it behind.
Yes.
So that's the mistake that most people are making in this world. They're not malicious. They haven't yet found the tools, found the answers, connected to obtain the insight to properly help people and teach them their power and see more than anything that everybody is all powerful and all capable. Most people think that everybody's broken because everybody's pretending and acting like it because they've never put in the effort. They've never taken immaculate care of this to excel. It's so dark to pretend you can't be something you've never been. And you're listening to people who are telling you you're broken and taking synthetic pills and you have no chance, you can't heal and overcome. You're listening to them instead of the people who are telling you no. If you take immaculate care of this and put in effort, you can you can heal and overcome. Myself, my parents were very young. That's why I suffered as a child. That's why I lived in a state of panic and fear. They had nothing to teach me. They had definitely not confidence.
So how did you come out of that state? What was that first helped you to become enlightened?
Well, my first awakening was in '05. And that was after I left Wisconsin. I joined the Air Force for 4 years for the GI Bill. I finished up my first two bachelor degrees, and I moved to California to pursue entertainment and really conquer my fears. And in '05 was the day of reckoning, of true repentance, the most powerful day of my life that really allowed me to move forward. And I was actually reading a book on Christianity. I've been anti-religion for a long time. I grew up with it. Most of branches of religion are teaching fear and to fear hell, and that you're an
Christianity
unworthy
teaches that
sinner.
too. Yeah.
And yeah, and so church put a lot of fear in me as a child. I'm very anti-religion now. But my mom sent me a book and I was reading it, and it was Mere Christianity. And in the book, there was a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. saying, "Every time the devil comes knocking at the door of my heart, Jesus answers and tells him there's no room." And for some reason, I just lost it. Just everything made sense. And tears just poured out of me.
Right.
Not tears of darkness, boo-hoo, poor me, mom. My mom and dad are mean to me. Life is hard. God hates me. Tears of ecstasy and repentance and owning and taking responsibility for my creation. This fearful person and impatient and angry person that I created. I took responsibility for all of it, and I didn't want to do that anymore.
That's the first step. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my main teaching. Take responsibility for your entire creation. You're never going to go to the light if you're blaming everything outside of you, trauma,
That's
your
right.
parents,
That's
mental
right.
disorders, all the above. You're never going to heal or overcome if you're just blaming this external world. So on that day, that is when I vowed to do everything I can to operate at the highest levels to become confident. The goal was, even that day, the goal was never to be spiritual, or I didn't even know what spirituality really was. I
Yes.
saw it. I kind of liked the vibes from it, but it never aligned with me. I never went after that. My
Uh-huh.
first awakening, what I did was I decided I was going to take better care of this and step on every stage that presented itself. And I
Uh-huh.
had a friend when I was younger who stripped. And I thought it was the most courageous thing. I couldn't talk to girls, much less dance with them, much less
Oh
dance in
my.
front of them and take my clothes off. I thought that was the most courageous thing a man could do. So in the back of my head is, I got to do this someday. I need to conquer my fears, and to conquer my fears, this is my greatest fear. I have to do this. So I decided to do that. And when I went to California, as well as improv and acting classes, scene study classes, auditioning, then I started doing more TV shows, modeling, all above. I decided I would step on every stage that presented itself, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, all of that. And the
Right.
stripping and I eventually worked into this show, Gigolos, that I got an audition for. And with my background, and it was just a perfect fit. And that was another stage to jump on, knowing that now I'm going to have, it was an adult reality show. It wasn't porn or anything crazy like that, but it was an adult reality show. And doing this show, knowing that I'm going to have 3 cameras on me and tens of millions of people are going to watch me go on a date. And this is coming from someone who couldn't talk to a girl, or couldn't talk to a girl without alcohol in my late teens and early
Uh-huh.
20s. So it was another chance and opportunity to, battle my demons and conquer my fears. So I did do this ridiculous show. And
Well, and then you conquered all those fears. And how did you climb out of that?
so at the beginning of the show, this was after my first awakening, and I was moving forward with everything. I was becoming confident, and I took on the name Nick Hawk at the time. And so Nick Hawk wasn't that lost. Nick Hawk was a truth seeker. And he was looking to battle his fears. He was taking responsibility for his being in creation. He was just surrounded by darkness, being in Hollywood, and then this show that filmed in
Yeah.
Las Vegas. So I'm surrounded by Vegas, and it's and the drinking and the partying. And my producer knew the guy at all the clubs. So I was surrounded by all this darkness, seeking answers and not finding them. But it did allow me to help me conquer my fears and battle my demons, which led me to my first full chakra Kundalini awakening at the end of I think it was after we filmed 6 seasons.
Six
And
seasons, my goodness.
yeah, I started on 52 episodes. It was huge. It was one of Showtime's biggest shows.
Oh
got pretty famous
my.
off it. Yeah.
So,
And
so were you looking toward life beyond that? I mean, you must have thought there's going to
I
be,
thought I was on top of the world. I was, but I have, you know, I'm making this money. I'm going to the clubs with the hottest girls in the world, with the coolest people. You know, everybody who makes it and makes money, they come to Vegas to live their life. I thought I was on the top of the world, but I'm like, this can't be it. You know, I'm at these
yeah.
clubs.
Is this all
I was
there
over
is?
drinking when I went to Las Vegas. I did a little bit in the beginning, but I would go to these clubs and everybody's drinking I'm like, I don't like anybody here. You know, that nobody here has any answers. This isn't life. How is this the top of this is where
Yeah.
everybody's trying to go? I'm like, this isn't it. So yeah, I went to the mountains. I left people behind. I traveled the world. I hiked, and yesterday I wrote a book beginning to end yesterday called Climbing Mountains. It's going to be the first of a series of guidebooks that I'm going to be releasing. Master Nick Eagle's Guide to, and this one's going to be Climbing Mountains. And I went really deep into this. I climbed Bear Mountain behind me as I wrote it. I woke up in the morning, I started writing. Today I decided I'm going to write a book beginning to end. It's such a brilliant concept and idea. And I wrote a little bit in the morning and I said, okay, now I'm going to juice my celery, make my enlightened meal, and then I'm going to head to the mountain. And then I have a little peak that I stopped at. I said, now I'm at Eagle Peak. And as soon as I sat down there, a hawk was below me and screeched. And it was one of the most beautiful things that ever
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
That one of the most beautiful sounds I ever heard. And it was such a beautiful synchronicity. I'm writing this book right when I sat down to write a little bit more. And I hiked all the way up to the top of Bear Mountain, wrote a bunch up there, came back down and wrote some more as well. So I went deep into, you know, what going to the mountains really, what it really means,
Yeah.
and battling these demons. And that's what I decided to do when I saw that there were no answers. I wasn't finding answers out there, you know. So I continued to go inside, and the more I went inside, the more responsibility I took for my being, the more I was putting truth above all, the more fear I was leaving behind, and this is what rewarded me with this Kundalini awakening. This
Yeah.
this 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 search for truth and putting
Yeah.
truth above all and leaving my fears behind. And for my Kundalini awakening, I didn't have any yoga training at all. I did 10 different kriyas that I was never taught. I knew nothing about. I shook. It was the first of my life I sat in lotus for more than a few seconds, prayer position. I did holotropic breathing that I didn't even know was a thing. After the Kundalini awakening, I looked at my friend and I said, "What's that?" He said, "I think you just had a Kundalini awakening."
All right.
And
Explain to our listeners Kundalini awakening because they're looking at one another. They're saying, this sounds cool, but I don't know what it is.
yeah, yeah, it sure does. I mean, this is our evolution. This is
Explain what that
when we
is.
make the right choices and when we take immaculate care of this, we leave that behind the fears. It's what happens. It's a reward
What
from
happened?
the
How did
reward from
this
God. I'm getting
feel?
there. I'm getting
How
there.
did
I'm
this
getting
feel,
there.
dear? Explain what this was. How did it feel?
So this is this is where we should all attempt to go. We want to operate at the highest levels. We want to bring the most love and light to the world. And there's things we have to do this. And when you're making when you're in alignment, when you're being spiritual, doing things to connect, and when you're doing the things you should be doing, practicing true repentance, taking responsibility, you know, speaking truth, not conjuring darkness and creating all this fear, and you're able to connect, that's where we obtain answers and we go into these advanced states of healing. That's the whole point of all this. The whole point of yoga and being spiritual is doing things to connect, to obtain answers and heal and bring more love and light to this world. And when you're doing all the things that you should be doing, you are shown or calculating, we are one with how to properly do yoga, position and align the body, align the chakras, and to be able to enter these advanced states. Mm-hmm. So it can be interpreted as I was being rewarded, or I'm just taking care of myself at the level to where I'm able to connect, to understand how I should now move my body and what I should be doing with my body to be able to enter these advanced states. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. I solved the problems. I did what I was supposed to be doing. I was listening. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing to be able to enter these advanced states where I obtained this wisdom. Now, the feeling, and this, in 2005, I think it was a minor Kundalini awakening as well. And that's what a lot of people have, where they bring the energy up a little bit. Sometimes they bring it up to their heart. And now they feel this now oneness with everybody. And that's a lot of people, I think, make it there. The full chakra Kundalini awakening, I'm not sure if I know of somebody who has done this. There's a few people who write books on them. I've connected with them, but there was still fear there. And they might have brought this energy up to their heart and they thought they experienced a full one. But this is a very rare thing. It's something I should be studied more. I also dried a wet sheet in freezing temperatures this last winter, which was an astonishing feat. I'm looking to hook my brain up to have it monitored as well to prove the states that I go into. I might be the first person to document staying in hyper gamma and possibly lambda. There's something very special that is happening. And it was for all the work and effort that I put in, and it was for listening, and it was for leaving those fears behind. But this is a state of nirvana. This is heaven. I mean, there's nothing that feels better than entering one of these states where the fear is gone and nothing matters but truth, and God fills you with this golden light. As when the Golden Laws of Enlightenment came to me, I was shot by source, by this, and just shot with this thick golden light, and it was filling my aura, 4-inch thick golden aura all around my body, and it was giving me these visions of opening up a place for people to come and the healing myself and touching people and healing them.
And for people who have approached the same way of being using the teachings of Jesus, it's the same experience. Gratitude, forgiveness, and love. And you can get to the same place. I've been working with people who have essentially achieved the same. It's a glorious place to be. And that's what it is. That's how it feels. Thank you. That was beautiful. Exactly beautiful. There is no fear there. There is nothing but pure love. That's what you experienced, the pure love of God. And there is no end. There is nothing but that pure, endless love. Beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you. And
I do want to, you've talked about Jesus and his teachings a couple times. I'd like to say something about that. Many of his teachings have been misinterpreted Again, that's not him writing in the Bible. This is people who witnessed it, and who knows what could have happened in the interpretation, much less between the languages, much less when a king gets involved. So even
Oh no, the religion has nothing. They don't even use his teachings in the religion, but his teachings
most of
in
them,
the
yeah,
Gospels are
they
mostly
misinterpret
genuine.
almost all of them. But the point that I'm getting at here, the teachings there, even the teachings in my book, the golden laws that are at the end of it, and everything that I teach, they're just words. A lot of the most people who quote scripture from the Bible, they have no idea what they're saying or what it means. And it doesn't mean anything if you haven't put in the effort to discover that answer yourself or that truth. And this is what I attempt to guide everybody to do, to make these vows, to operate at the highest levels, to give yourself the best chance, number one, and to spend that time in the mountains battling your demons and finding the answers that we all hold. Words don't mean anything if we haven't discovered them. Yes, it's good to have guides that you believe, that you trust and have done special things. Then maybe you can take their words more than some other words that you don't even know where they came from. But more than anything, they don't mean anything. And this life, and everybody wants to be a teacher and wants to be a healer, and they're just almost everybody's just repeating words that don't have any substance or depth behind them, because they don't even understand the words that they're speaking. They sound good. Yes, be kind to people. Okay, but what does that mean? How can we dissect that? What's being kind? What's the kindest thing you can do to somebody? And it is tell them the truth and teach them their power. That's the kindest thing you can do to somebody. It's not giving them a hug and patting them on the back and telling them everything's going to be okay, when it's not, if they continue to make the choices they're making. So a lot of people go, just be kind to people. But what does that mean? We have to go deeper into that. And that's what I did. And that's what came to me here, and this understanding. We're
You're
not
right.
malicious.
You're right. What you're saying is it's an individual journey that you have to make on your own. It's not something that you can do in a religion. The religions are all leading people astray. That's
They
true.
take your power and keep you in fear. And
That's right. Because
you have
they're
no
all
idea who or what God
fear-based.
is if you're in
They're,
fear.
they're
You
all
will never
fear-based.
meet
That's
God.
right. That's right. That's totally right. The religions are all fear-based. They have to be, because otherwise the
You keep
leaders
them
cannot
coming.
keep control of the people. That's what they're, the fears are a means of control,
Yes,
and they have to be. They're human
very much
control.
so.
That's right.
Yes, and that's why you go to the mountains and go outside, and go to the mountaintops, literally and figuratively.
That's right.
And that's where the work gets done. The answers are in here. When people first started coming to me, I was a personal trainer doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I was helping people with their diets and health and wellness stuff. And then I started becoming confident, and I was helping people with anxiety and confidence. And people started coming to me with addiction and depression and suicidal. And it was a lot. When you put yourself out there as someone with answers, I mean, you get it all. And that's what really pushed me more than anything to find the answers. And I started reading all the self-help books, and all the self-help books are written to tell people what they want to hear and not what they need to hear. They're feeding and comforting darkness to sell books and gain followers. And I saw through it all. And when I wasn't finding any answers in the books too, that's why I went to the mountains as well. And I traveled the world and put in all that work to dig in here. And then my first book was Mick Hawk's 100 Kicks in the Ass, A Guide to Gaining Confidence and Reaching Your Full Potential. And as I wrote in the back of my new book, little did we know that that book contained sacred teachings that led me to my Kundalini awakening.
But ultimately, it's not.
By going in here.
Yes, but it's ultimately the problem is that it isn't even, as you know, your awakening. It's their awakening, each person's awakening that has to bring them to God. And fortunately, Jesus didn't die on the cross. He is alive, and he does help each individual person, which is the beauty of it all. So that works too. Um,
If
but
you properly
what I would
interpret
like to
his
do
teaching.
is, I'm sorry?
Yes, if you properly interpret his teachings. Yes,
Yes.
that I mean,
Yeah.
I've been, but again, that they don't matter
But
though.
it
They don't
can't
matter,
be.
and it doesn't matter if there was one Jesus or a million Jesuses, or if there were zero Jesuses. If
Well, I think
you
it matters because he's alive. There is one that is alive. But what I would like to do, I think we don't have time to do it now, so we'll probably need to do this again. But I'd like to go through your 10, um, you call them laws of enlightenment, because I think they're quite interesting and important. I'd like to go through them with you
Yeah,
in
they will
another
lead you to
meeting.
enlightenment. They're definitely important.
Yes. But I think they're good. I would like to probably do a separate conversation so that we can go through them, go through them. But let's finish talking about your journey. So you bit by bit, you then were drawn away from this journey you were on, where you were having all this fun, but you discovered it was not really fun at all. It was trivial fun. It was negative fun.
Talking about Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
no, it wasn't. I
and
wasn't
so
having any fun.
it was not fun. But
No.
hey, I got to the top, but it was a false top, as it
I
were.
got to the top. I bought this giant mansion and in this gated community, and I planned on having parties there, and I ended up not having any parties. I'm just like, what is all this? It's this
If
nonsense.
that's all there
It's
is, then let's just toss it away. Yes. And you were not the first person, I think, to make that kind of discovery. So you started then to climb a different mountain, and this different mountain helped you to discover enlightenment within yourself, which is a beautiful story. And one that I think you hope everybody can find that separate peace
one day
um,
we all will. Yes.
within themselves. But unfortunately, most people don't understand that that's the reason that we come here. That's the reason we come to Earth, is to
Well,
make that separate journey for ourselves.
yeah, purpose. What's purpose? I teach it's gathering up as much knowledge as possible and giving it back to as many people as possible. I mean, what can guarantee a more fulfilling and beautiful life than that? And that should be the goal. The goal shouldn't be grinding and drinking coffee and destroying yourself and drinking alcohol on the weekends and chasing money and buying cars and ugh.
No, um, as someone said, we spend the first half of our lives accumulating stuff and the second half getting rid of it.
Yeah,
That's really true. We
yeah.
discover
We
stuff
need
doesn't,
guidance. We need guidance. If we had some good guidance out there, it's not a waste, but I mean it's a lot of nonsense and unnecessary things.
yes. But so I mean, looking at your book, I think that it's a very meaningful story of the kind of, I mean, in extremes, of the kind of thing that most people go through. If they're thoughtful people, if there's any depth to them after having lived 100 lifetimes or something, and they begin to get some depth in their being, that they come to understand that there's more, and they start looking inward for that more. And it's a beautiful,
Seek and you will find.
yes, yes, which is a promise that came from Jesus. Knock and it shall be open to you. For everybody who seeks finds, and everybody who knocks,
Kingdom of heaven is within.
yes. And it's really a beautiful thing. When you come back, we'll go through your 10 points, which I think are very useful and very helpful and very freeing.
They're good ones and they're very advanced and there's teachings that aren't out there. I don't hear anybody talking about this stuff and it's the most important stuff that you
Yeah.
need to do.
Yes. Yes. It actually is in the Gospels, but it's hidden because most people don't read the Gospels with any depth.
A
They're
lot of it,
they
a lot
they
of it. I mean,
they
I'm
take the
tackling a few new
easy
things, so
way through it. They think that the church has those answers, and the church doesn't have any answers at all. Really, it has
but
none.
you will go to hell if you say that. So you can't say that.
No, because there is no hell. I'm also an afterlife expert.
And don't
I
you
know.
dare ever meditate because the devil comes. Don't you ever
Yeah,
think on your own. No, you don't think on your own. You go to hell and the devil comes. Oh, what's
yeah.
darker than that? What's darker than that?
Yeah, but the beautiful thing is that, the good news is there is no bad news. That's the beauty of it all. That's really quite wonderful. But so what do you want people to take away from what we're saying today? I mean, we're being playful about it, but there's nothing more serious than this.
I like that. I like that too. Yeah. There isn't. I mean, you know, we all know, no matter how lost and confused you are right now and how bad you think things are, you know deep down that you are capable of doing anything and turning anything around and becoming anything that you want to be. As when I struggled before this awakening, I would look people in the eyes. I would see confident people. I'd be like, I know I can do that. I always knew, we all know deep down that we're one. When I saw, I can do that. I just have to figure out how. I have to do the same thing they're doing, making the same calculations, get my mind in the same place. I have to put in this effort. I have to experience more. I have to, put myself out there more, step on every stage that presents itself. But we all know deep down, nothing, we know when people are lying. We know when we're lying to ourselves. It's just, you need to stop pretending. Just stop pretending you're broken and not capable and effort isn't rewarded. Deep down, deep down. And that's why we sit with our thoughts. That's why we go to the mountains. That's why we sit in stillness and silence, because then we uncover all of that. It all comes to the surface. Put that work in because it will be repaid.
Well said. I would only add to it that there is at the bottom and the top and everywhere, there's nothing but love and joy. Anything that complicates that is not real. Just get the unreal out of your life, and there's nothing but love and joy. And we're going to go through the 10 points that Nick has, because I think it will help you to see even more deeply that is true. It's all love and joy. Once again, my dear beloved friends, we've come to the end of our time together. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I'm so happy you could be with us today. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you get that and all its implications, it changes everything in your life for the better. Next week, our guest for the second time will be Kim Hodas. She'll be with us, as I said, to tell us again all about what was a terrible thing for her, the temporary loss in this lifetime of 2 children. She proved then clearly that death is not separation at all. Instead, it's transformation and nothing more. And love is the eternal thread that binds us across all the dimensions of existence. She's the author of a beautiful book called Beyond Grief: How a Son's Afterlife Connection Transformed a Mother's Loss into a Remarkable Spiritual Journey. In her book, Kim shares the beautiful continuation of her relationship with her son Rob beyond the veil. Her work reveals yet again the glorious fact that death is not an ending at all. Rather, she calls it more like a sacred initiation into a deeper spiritual truth. Her story is beautiful, and please be sure to join us next week so you can hear about it again. This week, our guest has been Master Nick Eagle, who has had a fascinating life that's not even half over. Nick transformed his life from a licentious one, lived in Las Vegas, into a deeply spiritual one, in which he's now a profound spiritual guru and teacher. His book is fascinating. It's The Golden Laws of Enlightenment. It's beautiful, it's universal, and especially if you are really turned off by Christianity, I think you'll find it to be one that really speaks to you. Nick's story is a timeless one. Life is deep. Life is an endless spiritual path to joy unbounding, and however we choose to take that path, the first step is right in front of you now. We also should just mention here that our dear friend Craig Hogan is the president and guru of Seek Reality Online, which is your one-stop resource for all things afterlife. Just go to seekreality.com and start to learn for yourself that your own reality actually is eternal. Just remember, I can't say this often enough, if you're alive now, you always have been, and you always will be alive. You don't have a choice in the matter, so you may as well learn as much about the truth as you possibly can. And that's all we really have time for now. So please remember to come back, number one, and learn all that you can right now about what's going on. And frankly, my guests are the most interesting people in the world. And I always, especially if I have a new guest, I can hardly wait to hear what that person has to tell us. And this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy, please make the most of this coming week in our one shared reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being, and you in particular, most of all in this entire universe, you, by God, are infinitely, eternally, perfectly, and forever loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.